welcome to my channel. I'm going to take you into the world of my life and ceramics. Basically just going to be talking about life and art and music and sharing my experiences with you all. Most of the time I'll be working on something pottery related and talking about something. And hopefully I will be able to have some other people join me. I'd like to collaborate with other people. I don't know, we'll just see where this leads. It would be interesting to share the process with some people who aren't familiar. I do have several pottery friends, so this may not be so interesting to them, but maybe it will be. And yeah, so thanks for coming and thanks for joining me on my journey. Every day is going to be different. Today I'm out here, it's a beautiful day, 90 degrees towards the end of September. Sitting on the porch, there's a little stream over here and some trees, and it's just beautiful. So it's wonderful when I get to bring my work outside with me. I feel very lucky when I get to do that. And in general, to get to live the kind of crazy life that I do, doing what I love. So I guess I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. I am originally from Colorado, a little town, Steamboat Springs, northwestern Colorado, and lived there till I was 18, went to college near Aspen, Colorado, in Glenwood Springs for a couple of years, and then I randomly moved to Connecticut on the whim of a coin toss, no less, just before my 21st birthday. That was about 8 years ago. And I never planned on staying. I always wanted to travel and just kind of be a vagabond, which comes mainly from my childhood. We had a camper and we would be out going somewhere, sometimes close by, sometimes further away, but generally for a weekend, at least almost every weekend, we would be somewhere camping, fishing, hiking. Sometimes we would go further away and for a longer amount of time, like we'd go to Grand Canyon and other places all around Colorado, Utah, Arizona, Wyoming, New Mexico. It was pretty amazing, and that was how I grew up. And I guess we stopped doing that as much when, my brother and I got older, and we got into other things on the weekends and got into our own lives and wanted to hang out with our friends and not go camping with our parents. But it was amazing nevertheless, and so yeah, I guess that was just kind of infused in me from a young age to want to travel. But here I am. I've been here in Connecticut, a little town called Collinsville. It's an amazing town. If I hadn't landed on such an amazing place, I wouldn't have stayed. This place is definitely magical in its own right, and anybody who's been here or lives here knows what I'm talking about. And I guess one of the main questions people ask me is how I got into pottery. And when I was about 7 or 8, on one of our camping trips, we were in Bridges National Park, I think, somewhere in some backwoods. My dad rarely went to a camp, just an established campground. If we could find some back road somewhere that you could barely get to, far away from civilization, that's where we were. So this was one of those places. And as we were driving there, we found or they're driving there or leaving there to go to another remote campground somewhere. My dad found some clay on the side of the road, just in the earth like it is, naturally. And he was always showing us what stuff was and teaching us about nature and wildlife and how to do things and what things were, as much as he knew. And so we scooped some up, put it in a bag, and we got to campground. He showed us how to make pinch pots, and then we fired them just in the fire pit until they were hard. And then we got home and we painted them. My dad had some bright blue paint, spray paint of some sort, that we painted them in to seal them and to make them a little bit prettier. And yeah, I just remember being so fascinated and captivated with that process. I didn't have an opportunity to do pottery again until I was a junior in high school. So I grew up in a small town and we just didn't have the facilities for that. And if there were somewhere, then I don't know, we didn't know about them. And we did have at one point paint your own pottery studios in town, and that was the closest I could get, and I loved doing that. But as soon as I could take a class in high school, my junior year, I did. And I loved it. But it wasn't until a couple of years later, I went to school when I was in Glenwood for college, which I never planned on going to college initially. I actually graduated high school early, semester early, took college classes so that I could... Oh no. So I had a feeling this mug was a little too dry to work with, and I was right, and it cracked here. I'm going to see if I can patch it up. If not, then I'll just make another one. Not a big deal, but definitely one of the things that can happen sometimes. Should have known better and not worked with this piece, but I was already ready to go, so I was stubborn. Anyways, I'll see if we can fix this up. If not, then like I said, I'll make another one. I have other ones to assemble, so it's okay. Anyways, so yeah, I wasn't planning on going to college. I just wanted to travel, and my plan was that I was going to work in restaurants and hotels or whatever, work in the service industry, travel around the world, maybe work on cruise ships, like, I don't know, whatever. That was kind of the idea. And then I graduated early, started working full-time in a restaurant instead of part-time, and decided that maybe that wasn't what I wanted to do. Initially, I thought maybe I wanted to do photography, and so I found a good photography program nearby, and decided to go. I had a gut feeling. I was going to be going to Alaska, and I just kind of decided in the last couple months before I was supposed to leave that it just didn't feel right. And I don't know, you just gotta listen to your instinct, but I definitely always wonder how different my life would be if I had gone to Alaska after high school. But I ended up going to Glenwood Springs, and they have a photography program there, but I signed up too late. There's a cutoff, they only take a certain number of people, so I decided I still wanted to go and take prerequisites and other classes and just and then do the photography program the next year. Anyways, as I was doing that, taking prerequisites and whatever, I decided that maybe photography wasn't for me. I had a lot of friends that were in the photography program, and realized it wasn't really what I wanted to do. They were stressed out all the time. You all, any of you watching this, you know what I'm talking about. And so I just decided to take classes I was interested in. Anyways, that leads us to me taking a pottery class in Aspen, Colorado. And one class, and I realized that was what I wanted to do with my life. And I decided that I didn't need to go to college to do that, and get a degree anyways to do it. I just needed to figure out ways to do it, take classes, take internships, just learn how to do it and figure it out. So that's pretty much what I've been doing, taking different classes, places. I've done some internships. I've had some mentors and worked with other potters, self-taught in a lot of ways. I've had studios where I've taught lessons, but ultimately trying to do this in New England has been difficult, because pottery requires a kiln that requires a certain type of electricity, and New England has very old buildings with outdated electricity, and turns out not so many people want to have a kiln in their building. So that's where I'm at. But I've been doing it. I've found places to plug in my kiln, and had studios in another location, and I bring pots back and forth. You'll see some of that process soon. I'll share some of that with you as well. And yeah, just doing whatever I got to do to make it work. I often think I'm crazy for doing it. It's been a lot harder than it could have been, especially not having a studio, all of my stuff in the same place, and then the car breaks down, or recently I wrecked my car, and that just makes it that much harder to do. But I'm figuring it out, and I'm doing it. I'm not giving up. I don't know why, but it's in me. I need to do it. So I'm just going with it. And yeah. But I still want to travel, and so that's kind of the next step. I've been talking about it for a while, trying to have a mobile studio or something like that, and it just hasn't been the time. It hasn't worked out yet, and I'm rethinking that idea in a different way, but I still want to travel and work with other artists and other potters. So what I'm thinking is I'd like to do more residencies or work trades, different types of guest teaching or workshops in different places, and kind of just for a little while do it that way, see where it takes me. I've been able to connect with other potters on Facebook and different pottery groups that are in different places around the country and around the world, that have offered for me to come work there and stay, and I think it would be amazing, and I would love to figure out a way to do that. So that's kind of the plan. The next step, I'm going to be moving to Ohio to live with family for a little while and work out of a studio there. Spend some time with the fam, kind of get grounded a little bit, and plan for the next place for maybe like the spring or something, and give me a chance to save up money to get there wherever I'm gonna go. So that's the plan. And anyways, thanks for watching. I hope that was interesting. I really don't know. I'm not the greatest storyteller. But I hope you enjoyed it. And enjoyed the video, and I'd love to share more with you guys, so just let me know what you're interested in knowing about, whether it's about the pottery process, it's about my life. I'm going to share other stories with you guys too, just either whatever's happening at the time or old stories. There's been a lot of I've had a lot of interesting adventures that some people might find amusing, so yeah, I don't know what this channel is going to turn into. We'll just see what happens. I'm just going to start sharing what I already do, and maybe one person will think it's interesting. I don't know, we'll see. And we'll drink some tea, and I'd love to have other people collaborate with me, so yeah, we'll just see what happens.